Special thank you to all of my patrons, especially my precious pets. Water Arisen, Nikki Paley, Fury Vix, Hybrid Sisters, Michelle, Anne Adventure, Lily Rosenhart, Sandra, Destiny, Stepanex, Van Event, Ruda Betty, Lucy Scott Rushton, and Toka. Oh, hello there. Come right on in. Might you be my 8 p.m.? Excellent. I trust you didn't have too much trouble finding your way here. The rain is relentless, and in the dark it can be a real challenge to find this place, but you're right on time. I appreciate you being willing to meet at such a comparatively late hour. It is a bit unusual, I know, but I find this kind of work is well suited to the evening hours. It suits me too. The dark and the quiet, the distance from the daily hustle and bustle. I'm afraid I've become more or less nocturnal over the years. You've cleared your schedule for this evening, yes? Nowhere to be directly afterwards? No big plans waiting on you? Good. That's very good. There's no real way to predict how long this will take, and it's important not to rush things. You now have my complete and undivided attention, and I'm very grateful that you've chosen to give me yours. So, please, settle in, relax, and make yourself comfortable. You are welcome to sit on the couch behind you. I've kept the room rather dim. You might have noticed, with candlelight as its only illumination. It is by design. Every color, every fabric, every texture of this room has been chosen for its ability to exude comfort and safety, to please without overwhelming, to soothe. Comfortable? Good. Allow me to pour you some tea. How does it smell? Not too medicinal, I hope. It's my own blend. Oh, just a little bit of this and that. Celastris, chamomile, skullcap, mugwort, blue lotus, and a touch of honey for the flavor. Did you happen to notice the glass pane greenhouse on your way in? My personal herb garden is inside. I grow everything right here. I find the process of tending and cultivating very rewarding. Please, have a sip. Tell me what you think. Well, you are not grimacing, so it must not be too bad. Now, you saw the listing. You know that this is an experimental treatment. Tell me what else you know. Yes, the call for applicants was somewhat vague by design. I wanted to avoid participants coming here with too many preconceived notions. For me to administer treatment effectively, your mind and body need to be as open and relaxed as possible. Well, yes it did, didn't it? The call for volunteers did specifically request participants who have had trouble being open and relaxed. I assume that struck a nerve with you? Of course it did. Why else would you have come? Now, before we begin, I need to conduct a simple assessment to gauge your suitability for this treatment. It's quite simple and non-invasive. You may stay seated. I will need to be close enough to you to interact with and assess your energy field. Is that all right? Good. All right. So, my hands won't touch you, but you might feel some warmth from where they pass close to your skin. I'm going to start here, hovering just over the top of your head, just an inch or so from your scalp. interesting. Alright, now I'm just hovering my hands over your forehead, just sensing the pliability, the resistance of your unique energy signature. I'm only putting the finest bit of pressure on it, knocking on the front door of your mind, so to speak. You shouldn't feel much from this, except save for a mild tingling sensation. Down over your ears, down your neck, then shoulders. Oh, how curious. Down your upper arms, then your forearms. Going to try and pull on it a bit here. See if I can. Alright, perhaps not. Out to the wrists, the palms, then the fingers, all the way out to their tips, then back up over the chest, your sternum, your stomach, down across the pelvis. Just getting your energy accustomed to me, showing it that I am here to help, that I am not a threat to you. Good. Very good. Down your hips, your thighs, across your knees, down your calves, through your ankles, and down to your feet, out through the tip of your toes. Good. Very, very interesting. No, I'm afraid not interesting in a good way. Not for you. I've seen some defensive barriers in my time, believe me, but yours is something else entirely. It's woven from such tight interlocking bands of energy that it's practically rigid, like a suit of plate armor. A healthy barrier, for comparison, should feel fluid and flexible, moving freely with the body and shifting in porosity and hue in response to the emotions you experience. It should be somewhat permeable, but stable, and kind of springy. When I press against it, as I'm doing now, just over the center of your chest, it should give slightly, then spring back into place. Yours barely moves at all, and it's so locked down, so expression averse. One might begin to wonder whether you're feeling anything under there at all. But you are, aren't you? That's why you're here. The disconnect. My call for applicants spoke to you for a reason. You have spent too much of your life locked away, pushed down, subdued and compressed until you barely even have access to your own innermost self anymore. You're out of touch with yourself. The most vital and vibrant part of you keeps eluding your grasp, doesn't it? Save for in those most private of moments, the little stolen pieces of safety you manage to carve out for yourself. You want to let go, to let it out, but you just can't. You can't untense. You can't relax. You don't remember how. I'm sorry. Was that too abrupt? Please, don't be embarrassed. After examining you, I'm certain that you are a perfect candidate for this treatment. I must admit, I'm excited. All right, let's begin. First, let me see your face. I just need to check. Oh my, look at those eyes. I can see the tea is having an effect on you already. Shh, that's alright. Your limbs are likely starting to feel very heavy. Allow them to sink back into the fabric of the couch. Relax. Your control over your body is rapidly fading. Fighting it won't help. There is truly nothing you can do. Try to find some peace in that. Ah, is that a flicker of fear I see across your face? That's perfectly fine. It's understandable. Giving up control can be frightening indeed. It's alright. You need this. You needed this for a long time. I'm simply going to sit here next to you. Place this cushion on my lap and ease you down to rest your head upon it. There you are. I know it's unconventional, but I find this treatment most effective when I'm able to have some skin-to-skin contact. You can't move, but your sense of touch is working just fine. So, here and there, you may notice a light pressure of my fingertips moving across your scalp. The areas I touch will correspond to the portion of the brain I need to access in order to administer this treatment. It'll probably just feel a bit like I'm playing with your hair and giving you a light scalp massage. I expect it will feel rather nice. Oh dear, are those tears I see welling up in your eyes? Well, that's perfectly fine. You can cry as much as you need to. Such release is good for the body and the mind. You can let it out. It certainly won't discourage me. Excellent. Now we can really get to work. Breathe. Relax. Soften. Unfurl for me. Breathe. Good. Very good. Earlier, when I inspected your energy barrier, I was also attuning myself to it in such a way that I can now access and manipulate it somewhat. It's a particular skill of mine that I've worked very hard to cultivate. Although, I must say, your barrier is particularly troublesome to interact with, as close and protective as it is around your being. That's just fine. I do so love a challenge. All I need to do is find a place where all this pressure, all this rigidity. Come now. I know there must be one somewhere. Ah, there it is. So fine, so faint, that any eye less trained than mine would have certainly missed it. A fissure, a crack in the walls you've erected around your psyche. For me, a way in. This will likely feel strange, as familiar as you might think you are with the inner workings of your own mind. I think you might be surprised by how unfamiliar a landscape it forms when forced to materialize into a representation of itself in response to a stranger. Just remember, this is your world we're exploring. your inner landscape. I bring nothing with me but myself and my tools. I am merely a visitor. Take a nice, full, deep breath for me. Just like that. Good. Now as you exhale, I'm just going to slip right in.